This is my very first Q&A on this channel. Thank you everyone who sent me their questions on Instagram. I received a lot more than I can possibly answer in this video, but I will do my best to be helpful with my answers. How do you approach a partner if you want him to buy you stuff? The issue lies within the question already. There is nothing wrong in wanting to have nice things or wanting your partner to give you a present or a gift. But where are your priorities? Is it to be with a loving and caring partner who makes you feel like a happy woman, or is it to find somebody who will buy you stuff? One does not necessarily exclude the other, but if you already picked a partner in life who is not naturally giving, it is unlikely you will change that. You can manipulate your way to get one or two nice things, but it will not happen consistently, and you will always feel like you have to drag it out of the other person. And this is something you need to understand and also communicate before entering relationship. What kind of treatment you expect, what you value in a man. How do you want love to be shown to you? Is it through words of affirmation? Is it through acts of service? Is it through physical touch or presence? To find a man who naturally has a provider mentality, who gets joy in spoiling his woman, who wants to give you presents, to see a smile on your face, to make you happy, but also understand what you can give in return. And I don't want you to think of it in a transactional way. I give you this, you give me that, but in a more harmonious and fulfilling way. You know how to make your partner happy, so they want to give you the entire world, so they feel inspired to become even more successful, so they feel motivated, so they feel loved and appreciated. You give them a role that they are happy to fulfill. They have a purpose and they have a goal. That way you will naturally receive all the benefits of it. You wouldn't need to use tricks and manipulations to get what you want. What I personally noticed works much better than words are your actions, how you treat yourself. I treat myself like a goddess. I go to a spa regularly. I take care of my appearance. I take care of my body. I go to a more upscale gym. I eat healthy. I often treat myself to a nice gourmet meal. I buy myself good quality clothing. People see how I treat myself, so they know they have to step up their game. They know the kind of places I go to, so they will not invite me to a shabby bar for a beer. They know how I dress and what I buy for myself, so they will not show up with a cheap, useless present. The way you position yourself and treat yourself is often how other people will treat you. Have you ever felt intimidated by other women? If yes, how do you deal with it? I don't feel intimidated by women or men, but since you asked about women specifically, I sense that you inquire more about things like rivalry, women feeling competitive with each other, and positioning yourself within a female circle of friends and colleagues. Feeling intimidation means feeling lesser than or inferior to others. It is usually someone who is stronger than us, bigger than us, or more powerful than us that can intimidate us. It is a very natural instinct. So is the competition. But since we like to think of ourselves as an intelligent species, we can separate these innate instincts from the actual reality the modern person lives in. I don't feel competitive with other women or feel jealous of other women, because for me there is nothing to compete for. We have plenty of resources. There is abundance of everything. If we're talking about a life partner, there are so many single men out there. If we're talking about career or a financial success, there are so many opportunities out there. Just because another woman is happily married and is thriving in her career and she's beautiful and charismatic doesn't take away anything from me. I have beautiful relationships with other women in my life. I have a mother and a sister and I love them dearly, but I also have wonderful friends whom I honestly almost consider as family. We are genuinely happy for each other. I want my ladies to thrive. I want them to be successful. I want them to be in happy relationships where they're being spoiled and treated like goddesses because they deserve it. A friend of mine recently bought an apartment, and I cannot tell you how happy and proud I am for her, because I know all the struggles she had to overcome, all the sacrifices she had to make. She worked so hard for it. She showed so much courage, resilience, and discipline. I am impressed by it, and she is a beautiful example of how such a gentle, feminine soul can be so strong at the same time. Another friend of mine is now finally in a happy relationship. After years of being mistreated before that, she was so heartbroken. I saw her struggles. I saw how much inner work she went through, how she learned to love herself, how she learned to have standards and boundaries. Seeing her getting closer to her marriage makes me feel nothing but at peace for her happiness. I want women in my life to be happy. I want them to be successful. I want us to grow together, share these experiences, and cheer each other on. We celebrate each other's wins, and it is not a figure of speech, we actually do that. We do a happy dance, we sit and reflect on the journey we went through, the lessons we learned. We praise each other, and it makes our bond ever stronger. Of course, it is not all rainbows and butterflies. I had friends who were jealous of me, who were passive-aggressive towards me, who tried to bring me down to feel better about themselves. But once I communicated my boundaries and expressed how I would like this friendship to move forward, if they were not on board with that, I had to cut the ties. I decided that I want to be surrounded by people who will be genuinely happy for me, the same way I am happy for them. Now I am 29 years old and I don't have a single person in my life who brings me down and makes me feel bad about myself. I simply do not allow it anymore. I also had female colleagues back in the days when I was still working in the office. They were gossiping about me, creating lots of drama and tension, tried to ruin my career. But honestly, at that point of my life, I was so focused on improving my own life that I didn't give them any time, energy, or attention. I simply didn't have that. It was unpleasant, of course, to hear those things about me, especially because I knew it was not true. But my priority was to change my career, to move to another country, learn the things that I need to learn, and get myself financially stable. The last thing I cared about were jealous women gossiping about me in the kitchen. I was just not engaging and not participating in all that. You cannot be intimidated by someone if you don't give them the power to do so. If their opinion and their behavior is not important to you, it loses any effect it has on you. It just becomes a background noise. Where can you go to have a better company? Bars and clubs are not for me. Regular bars and clubs are not for me either. I am personally not that excited about nightlife in general. If you don't like the stereotypical noisy, smelly bars where people drink a lot, where men often behave in a disrespectful manner, but you still want to go out for drinks with your girls, for example, then lounge bars, sky bars, hotel bars, and more upscale bars can be more fitting for you. They usually play quieter, more relaxing music, so you can talk normally, you don't have to shout to be heard. These kind of places usually have way better ambience, it is more comfortable, usually not so overcrowded, yet you have higher chances of meeting a well-spoken, well-mannered gentleman or a lady. There are also live music bars, like jazz bars for example. This is great if you're going out by yourself, so you don't need to worry that you sit there alone and have no one to talk to. You can simply enjoy the music and the drink, and chances are very high that somebody will approach you and start talking to you. If you want to do more networking, then you have different kinds of organized events, conferences and exhibitions. You get to meet people with similar interests or who work in the same industry that you do. Check what is available in your area. You can learn something new and meet interesting people. And then there are more upscale places and events where you can meet more financially well-off individuals if this is something you're looking for. A Monaco yacht show, a Wimbledon match, charity auction events, equestrian events, fashion weeks, ski resorts, and so on. But this also comes at a certain price tag. People from these kind of circles usually have a travel schedule, a calendar for the entire year to attend those events. How to be naturally elegant in every aspect, no money related. I can talk all day about it. There are so many things to cover. This is why I created my Elite Ladies program. It will guide you in your elegance transformation journey. It is very beginner friendly if you don't know where to start and what to do. I include lots of practical tips and actionable steps for you to become the most classy, refined and elegant version of yourself. So if you want to join the program, I will leave you the link in the description of this video. How to react gracefully when people just randomly talk badly about you. You don't react. You don't give them any attention, time, or energy. It is simply not important enough for you to pay attention. If it is somebody from your circle, consider excluding them from your life. I do not allow anyone to talk in a disrespectful manner to me. If it is in person, they are simply out of my life. If it is a family member or a friend who said something that hurt my feelings, I will communicate that and establish boundaries. If it is somebody online, I just delete or block them. Don't allow this negative energy into your life, and you will free up space for nice, kind, and loving people. It takes time, it takes practice, but it is very much doable. Please do your makeup and hair tutorial. I don't film tutorials because I'm not a professional makeup artist or a hairstylist. I have a few products that work well for me, and I usually do the same thing every time. But if this is something many of you want to see, please let me know and I will share with you my little beauty routine. What is your opinion on women who believe that having many men is woman empowerment? To each their own. If they feel empowered by having many men in their life, then good for them. In my personal opinion, empowerment is not something that comes from external factors like money, man, a title or a position. It comes from within. What makes us powerful is our unconditional self-acceptance, self-respect, knowing and embodying your intrinsic value, not being afraid to speak your truth, not being afraid to walk your own path, even if it contradicts to how the majority of people are doing it. Understanding and accepting your divine feminine, where you feel that you don't need to compete with man, you don't need to be just like man, you don't need to resent man or fully rely on man for your happiness. Masculine energy is just as beautiful and powerful as feminine energy. It is not a competition, it is not a war, it is a synergy, a union, and a partnership. We are stronger together, not because we are weak in our own self, but because each party can contribute and bring something the other is missing. Because we are so different. So we can create something together way more efficiently. Of course, if it is a healthy union, not a destructive one, where one side is trying to use the other, or one side tries to subdue the other. Bringing this down to earth a little bit, good quality, long-lasting, loving and caring relationships take a lot of time and energy. You really give a lot, but you also receive a lot. It is not possible to have the same quality when there are many of them. The only way to do it is to be more superficial with each of them. If this is the level of connection that truly satisfies them and makes them happy, sure. But I find it hard to believe. I think there is an inner void that they're trying to fill with those other people. But the answer is within. Is it inelegant for a lady to have a small tattoo? I don't think we should hyperfixate on every little thing. It is not a black and white, you belong to an elegant camp and you don't. There is no such thing. It is all relative. You can have a tattoo and some may say it is not elegant, but then you're well spoken, you have a kind heart, you are pleasant to work with, you have good manners, you dress well, your nails are neat, you help people in need, you create beauty around you. You cannot cross all of that off just because you have a tattoo. With that being said, if you are thinking about getting a tattoo and you're not sure about it, I would say better not to. Chances are high you will regret it down the road. There are many people who are now lasering off their tattoos. If you like art or there is a symbol or a saying that is meaningful to you, frame it, put it on the wall. You don't need to engrave it on your body. If you already have one, own it. It is part of you. It is part of who you used to be. It is your story. There is nothing to be ashamed of. This video is getting very long. Thank you again for all your questions. I'm sorry I couldn't answer all of them. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know and I will film more Q&As in the future. Thank you for watching, and I wish you a lovely week ahead.